what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, I know, and that's my fault because I've just been so crazy since I got this new job. That's what I've really been focusing on, and you know, spending time with my son. So yeah, my bad, but I'm gonna make it up to you guys today with a story time, my first story time ever. So please excuse my messy bun and I'm in guys' t-shirt, no makeup, just my lip gloss, Zoe Cosmetics, shade extra, cause I'm extra cute. It smells bomb, so if you haven't already, go over to her website, zoecosmetics.com, I believe, and get you some. Okay, so today's story time is going to be about how I found out I was pregnant. It's gonna get real juicy up in here, you know? I feel like I need to give you guys a little bit of like a background story in order for you to understand the circumstances at the time, why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, why I was so indecisive, so unsure about what exactly I wanted to do. So yeah, here goes nothing. So December of 2016 and January of 2017, me and Kaisa were going through like a lot of stuff. It was really bad, really rough. I don't want to say we hated each other, but there's a thin line between love and hate, and we were like on that line, you know? So yeah, it was really, really rough. So I'm fast forward a month later into February, and we decided, you know, like we wanted to work on things. We wanted to work things out with each other. We wanted to keep fighting, you know, for our relationship. So that's exactly what we did. And things were a little rough, whatever, but we tried. And after a couple of days or like a week of us like still kind of fighting here and there, things just started going so perfectly. We just were like communicating so well. Everything was just amazing, like out of this world, okay? And so then fast forward a month later into March. So now we're in March of 2017. I worked retail at the time, and the store that I worked in was huge. So I was walking around a lot. I was really active at work, and I was a good worker. So, you know, I was always extra, going above and beyond for the customers and everything. So I did more work than I guess I needed to, but that's just me. So I was like getting really exhausted at work, like really, really tired. And I know it's normal to get tired at work, but it was like, I was like exhausted. Like there were times where I remember leaning onto like the clothing racks and closing my eyes for like a couple seconds because I just felt like I was gonna pass out. And I'm not the type to complain unless, you know, I have to be practically dying for me to complain and be like, I can't work, I can't, you know what I mean? So I was like, no, like push through, you can do it. But I was just so tired. And then keep in mind, I was sleeping like 10 hours every single night. So for me to be tired still, like that's just crazy. It was completely not like myself. And my period was late, but that wasn't abnormal to me. Like my period for like the year prior to that was always like 2 months late, and so to me, like I haven't gotten my period, no big deal, you know what I mean? Like I stopped getting worried. That was no longer like a sign for me to be worried. That was just like, oh, it's normal, so whatever. And so I hadn't gotten my period, and I remember I was at work one time and I was like, oh, I think I got my period. Like I had really bad cramps. It felt like I was about to get my period. So I went to the bathroom and I seen a little bit of blood, and I was like, okay, gonna get my period, popped a tampon in, came back a couple hours later to check on it, and there was literally like hardly anything, if anything, on the tampon. And I was like, weird, okay. And I was just like, oh, maybe it's just like starting off slow, later on it's gonna hit me. So then it never came. That was when I started to get worried. I started, you know, because then I just started kind of piecing everything together. And I feel like I already knew that I was pregnant, but I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to acknowledge it because then I would have to face it. I would have to face the reality, you know? So yeah, I just kept ignoring the signs for like 2 weeks. And keep in mind too, like, I want to say maybe a week or two before I found out that I was pregnant, me and Kaisa had like decided to go MIA on all social media just to really focus on ourselves. So, I mean, I feel like everything happens for a reason because we went off of social media and then 2 weeks later I found out I was pregnant. Anyways, I need to go back to the story. Okay. I sidetracked too much. Okay, so then one day I was finally just like, hey, like, can you take me to go buy a test? And Kaisa was like, yeah, sure. And we were like so nonchalant about it and like not even stressed out because like we've gone to go buy tests before and it's more like just a way to ease my anxiety. Like, I never actually thought like I could get pregnant. I never thought it would actually happen to me when I'm not ready, you know what I mean? And I just kept telling myself like, there's no way I'm pregnant. I'm just tired, my hormones are out of whack, you know, like it's something else, like something else is wrong. And God was like, bet you can't get pregnant. And so we buy the test. He takes me home, and so I'm taking the test, and he's in the other room, and I'm like sitting there. And since I don't have social media at the time, I'm like scrolling on the news articles. You know, on iPhone you have like the news little app thing. So I was on the news articles, and I was like reading an article or whatever, and then I looked over at the test, and I seen 2 lines, and in my head I was like, okay, 2 lines, not pregnant, I'm fine. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, am I fine? Or I was wrong. 2 lines means I'm pregnant. I was pregnant. I'm saying it like you guys don't know that I was pregnant, but dun dun dun, I was pregnant. And I like started crying, and I called Kaisa, and I was freaking out, and like, so he took me to Planned Parenthood to take another test just to be sure. And whenever they took the test, came up positive, which I knew that was gonna happen, but I just wanted to take another test just to be sure. So then they're asking me like what I wanted. I said that I wanted an abortion, and I feel like that was like the fear in me. I was just scared, and so I said I wanted an abortion. And they were like, okay, well, before you can get an abortion, before you schedule it, you need to make an appointment with the clinic to go get an ultrasound to see exactly how far along you are. And I was like, okay, because and the reason why they wouldn't let me just get an abortion is because I didn't know when my last period was, like I said, because my period skipped so much. The last time I remembered getting my period was around Thanksgiving, and we were in January already. So we were in March already. Holy shit. Yeah, we were in March already. So they were like, we don't know how far along you are. We can't perform an abortion on you until we know how far along you are. So I made an appointment. I went to a clinic about a week later. The clinic was just asking me a lot of questions about like whether I was like what I wanted to do. I told them I wanted to get an abortion, and the lady was like kind of trying to talk me out of it, you know, like really talking to me about it, and like telling me all the resources if I don't have support, which I knew that I do have support. I have an amazing family, but I was just scared, and I just felt like I wasn't ready, you know. So after that initial appointment, they made another appointment for like a couple days later, like a week later, I don't remember, but for me to come back and get an ultrasound done because their ultrasound tech wasn't there that day. So me and Kaisa go get the ultrasound done, and I'm laying there, you know, still set on having an abortion, and then the ultrasound starts and there's nothing. And so I was just like, okay. And they were like, well, either one of two things is going on right now. Either 1, you're too early for us to see anything on an ultrasound, or 2, the fetus is already miscarrying itself. So, you know, in that case, you wouldn't need to get an abortion. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, at that moment, like, I was having like mixed emotions, because I had been saying this whole time, like, I'm gonna get an abortion, but then when reality hit that I might have a miscarriage, I got sad, which was so weird to me because I was like, why are you getting sad? Like, you won't have to get an abortion. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't meant to be. Like, you're fine. Like, everything will be okay, you know, whatever. I didn't understand why I felt sad. And I was just like, kind of getting mad at myself. Like, stop getting sad. You wanted an abortion anyways. Like, look, God said you're not ready now. And so I just kept set on that I was gonna have a miscarriage. So we came back a week later, and they wanted to be sure that either I was having a miscarriage or that I was just too early. They wanted to be sure before they even recommended me anywhere to have an abortion. So we go back a week later, and I'm expecting to see nothing again. And all of a sudden, something pops up on the screen, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I just remember it looked like a little seahorse, and I heard they let me hear the heartbeat, and sorry, I can't even talk right now. They let me hear the heartbeat, and they concluded that I was 6 weeks pregnant, and I was just mind blown, like, and I just felt instantly connected because it was real. Like, it was right in front of me. I could actually see that there was a growing fetus inside of me. I could actually see it, and at that point I stopped referring to it as a fetus. I referred to it as a baby because I just couldn't help but think, like, that's mine. That's half of me and half of the person that I love. And so that was the moment that changed everything for me. If I didn't see that ultrasound, I probably would have gone through with the abortion, and honestly I would have hated myself for it, just because I already know how I am. I'm a really emotional person, and that would have torn me apart. I feel like it would have torn apart me and Guy's relationship because I wouldn't feel the same anymore. You know, I would be sad and angry and full of regret. And so I'm just glad I went back for that second ultrasound. And so I fell in love. Me and Kaisa left. I was crying. I just started hugging him in the parking lot and crying, and I was telling him, like, I don't think I can do this anymore, you know? And so, you know, I talked to my family members about it, like some of my sisters, pretty much only my sisters, two of my sisters, I talked to them about it, and, you know, one of them was telling me that they think I should get an abortion because, you know, they feel like I have my whole life ahead of me and they don't want this to hold me back, that I have so much in me, so much left to do, you know, and they just don't want to see my future ruined. And that's exactly how I felt. And then my other sister was so against it, was telling me no, and don't do it, Kiana, you're gonna regret it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I didn't know what to do, so I called Planned Parenthood. I made an appointment for the abortion, and I never showed up. I just didn't go. And that was when, you know, me and Guy said this whole time had planned on me getting an abortion, and I didn't. I couldn't go through with it anymore, and I felt kind of bad, you know, in a sense, because we had talked about it so thoroughly, and I told him, no, like, I want an abortion, we need to get an abortion, and he was like, okay, like, whatever, you know, you want to do. So that was a little tough for us for a second, but then, you know, everything turned out okay. And, you know, for a while, like, I was psyching myself out. Like, I was telling myself, like, how are you gonna do this? You can't take care of a baby, you can't do this, like, you can't take this on. Like, you guys are barely grown, you guys are just barely finished being kids yourselves. Like, you're young adults right now, like, you're not ready to take care of a baby. But then, you know, I knew that I was fortunate, and then I had family that loved me unconditionally, and parents that wouldn't throw me out, and people that would support me and would be by my side and wouldn't judge me and wouldn't make me feel less of a person, less of a woman, less of an individual because of, you know, my choices. And so I was like, you know, I have every reason in the world to go through with this pregnancy. My family will not leave me alone. This baby will be loved like no other. This baby will have love, it'll have support, it'll have a strong foundation no matter what. And so I was like, I gotta go through with it. And that's what really changed my mind. I knew that I would have support, and I knew that I loved my baby already, and I wanted my baby. I wanted to see my baby. I wanted to touch my baby and kiss my baby. And I was only I think when I finally made my decision, I was like 9 weeks. So it took me 2-3 weeks to decide what I was going to do. And I just kept thinking, like, I feel like, because, like, you know, I kept being reminded, like, you gotta hurry up and do it. If you're gonna get an abortion, you gotta hurry up and do it. And I feel like I kept putting it off because I knew that I didn't want to do it. And I just kept thinking, like, just let it pass the day, and then I can't do it no more, you know? But I eventually made the decision for myself. And, you know, I'm not putting down women that have gotten abortions or that, you know, want to get an abortion. Honestly, like, I'm pro-choice, and I feel like the decision lies in the woman's hands, ultimately, because it is our bodies. We're the ones that are going to carry a baby for 9 months, or we're the ones that are going to have to deal with going through an abortion and healing and dealing with that loss. We're the ones that are going to have to raise a baby for not even, you know, people say 18 years, but it's someone's whole life. You don't just raise your child for 18 years and then, okay, you're not my responsibility no more. Like, that's not how it goes, you know? And so I feel like it's the woman's choice, and whatever choice you feel in your heart is right for you, because you know what's right for you. You know what you can live with. You know what you can handle. And you just have to follow your heart and not think so much, because you already know the answer. So just follow your heart, and whatever decision you make is going to be the right decision. It's the right decision for you. And ultimately, you know, just the right decision overall. So yeah, I guess that would be my advice. You know, I really was hesitant about sharing this story. I did write a blog post about it, but a video I feel like is more personal in a sense, because I don't know, it just feels more personal to me, because I feel like I'm having a conversation with you guys, just no one's talking back to me. Yeah. I just feel like it's a little more personal, and this is a really sensitive subject for me that honestly I feel a little scared to post and scared to share. But at the same time, from my blog post, my written blog post, I got a lot of, you know, great feedback from other women that felt the same way as I did, that, you know, went through that. And so that kind of motivated me to actually make a video about it and to touch upon it in a video. So yeah, so if you're going through this, you know, just stay strong, follow your heart. Everything happens for a reason. That's all I can say. Everything happens for a reason, and whatever you decide is the right decision for you, just as long as you follow your heart and you don't allow anybody else to persuade you to do anything that you don't want to do. There are times that I feel really guilty for feeling that way at one point, for feeling like I didn't want my baby at one point. And I think it's just natural, because now that he's here, I look at him and I love him so much with all of my heart and soul. He is my entire world. And for me to think that there was a time where I didn't want him, it makes me feel horrible. It makes me feel like a horrible person. It makes me feel like a horrible mother. But, you know, it's natural to feel that way, and I need to not beat myself up so much about it. And I've stopped beating myself up about it, because I know, you know, I was scared. And that's okay. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel unsure. It's okay to not know what you want, especially when you're so young and you have so much ahead of you and you just don't know what to do. And, you know, for some people, I know they don't have the support that I have. So I just want to say, mamas, if any of you did feel this way at some point, don't feel guilty. It's natural. It's natural to be scared, and, you know, don't feel guilty, because you were just being honest with yourself, you know? You can't be scared of your feelings. You can't deny your feelings. You can't pretend like your feelings don't exist. You have to acknowledge them. And because you acknowledge those feelings of being unsure, of not knowing what you want, you were able to make the right decision for you. In which case, for you, it was to continue on with your pregnancy, like it was for me. that doesn't make us better people or any better women than those that choose to have abortions. So just keep that in mind. Don't talk down on other people, because you don't know people's circumstances. You don't know their lives. You've never walked a day in their shoes. Yeah. Okay, that kind of turned into a rant, but... And there's my baby. He's ready for his mother to be done with YouTube for today. So thanks for watching. Comment below if you have any other future story time ideas. I know that people want me and guys to do a story time on how we met, but I'm trying to convince him, because he's kind of like... Guys is really a private person, so he's more of like, nobody needs to know our story, and I'm like, no, we need to share it with the world, you know. So yeah, but comment below any other future storytime references, like I said, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already at Kiana Aussie. And yeah, like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, then that's fine, you don't have to like it, but don't dislike it, because that's not nice. And comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Here, Pop, say hi. Say hi. Say mwah. Okay, say bye, Papa. Bye. Press the button. Press it.